Hello everyone, my name's Tony, and this is Brianna. I'm an energy medicine practitioner that also uses essential oils. And today's video, I'm going to show you all how it's done. So anybody out there that's planning to book a session with me, you can see how things go. Alright, so the first thing we do, I'm going to get centered and grounded before the session. Typically this is done before I meet with you. Okay, so now that I've done the grounding and centering, the next thing I do is we talk to the client and say, hey, what do you have going on that you want prayed for or that you want to work on? So, Brianna?
Okay. So I have been working on my shadow work and doing a lot of healing trauma. And as I'm going through and healing that trauma, I'm finding different triggers coming up and some unresolved grief processes. So I would like to work on getting that full trauma release and soothing some of the anxieties and triggers that come with it. It's also causing some somatic pains in my body, so my hips and my ankles and my shoulders tend to get really tense. So if we could hit all of those places, I think that would be helpful.
Okay. So what's going to happen is I've actually chosen, for today's session, I've chosen lavender as the essential oil. This can help cleanse the energy field as well as help calm the mind and the emotions. Alright, and let's see, so how do you...
You want me to go on my back first
How do you
or
prefer?
stomach?
Let's start out, or do you want to, would you like to sit up or back or stomach?
Let's do laying down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go with, go ahead and lay on your stomach first.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is the second thing I do, or third thing I do. So I did the grounding and the centering. Then I asked the client what issue they'd like me to work on. And the third thing is I'm going to assess the energy field. So this is what I'll be doing is going over her body when she's on her stomach, and also have her flip to her back to kind of see if I can see anything that's out of balance, hot spots, cold spots. So what I want is everything, by the time I'm finished, I want everything to feel the same. Okay, and flip over on your back, Brianna. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush the energy field. Okay, and flip back over on your stomach for me. And I'm also applying some, you can see I have the essential oil here in my hands, the lavender. just let God do the work. I'm just a vessel to work on her issues. So I did notice some cold spots down toward the bottom of her legs. So I'm going to focus on that area now. And this could also be done touch and non-touch. Typically I do non-touch just because I'm using the essential oils. Some essential oils can stain clothing, so you gotta be careful about that. And a session, I usually do 35-minute sessions. This is just going to be a short session, just so y'all can see, kind of know what to expect. You okay if I touch you?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so now I'm going to have you roll back over in your back. Okay, and now I'm going to, this completes the session with the exception of doing a final brush. So I'm going to do a final brush and reassessment. Alright, whenever you're comfortable, you can open your eyes and set up whenever you're ready. So how was that?
Good. I felt when you first went through and were doing the assessment and the initial brushing, I felt lightness on the top of my head.
Okay.
And then I felt some different sensations in both my feet and like my core and hip and iliosacral area. It was not quite a tightness like you would think of muscle tension, but it had, it's hard to explain. It had a little bit of a tenseness, almost like if somebody was to push against you, like that type of sensation for a moment. And I did open my eyes at one point to see where you were when I felt it, because you were right around my waist area when I felt all of that, and then you were moving into my legs when I felt it on my feet. And then my head, you were up here. And then as you were going through and doing the actual energy work, I felt a few times where it was just a release, where my mind relaxed, my body relaxed, and I could even feel my shoulders drop down. It was like my breath felt like I was breathing more intentionally, which I wasn't mentally doing that, but it was just suddenly like I could feel my breath going through my body, which was pretty wild. And towards the end, I had a vision, I guess is the right word for it, of, you know, that famous saying of, you know, the one pair of steps in the sand where God's carrying you through, you know, instead of walking side by side, it was reminiscent of that, but there was an angelic figure that was carrying me through a scene in the sand. So that was really really neat, especially for what I'm going through right now with the trauma and grief release. So it felt very emotional too when I saw it, because I've done a lot of praying on just giving myself to God and to my guides to help me through it. So that was very significant for me to have that come up right at the end.
And I actually I did notice when I did it, the breath, when you released the breath, I could notice that you were releasing something there. And then, have you ever had any issues, or do you have any issues going on around like your knees or your legs? Because that's where I felt the imbalance.
I tore every ligament in my right ankle, and that was after an initial pulling the ligaments, and then I tore them a few years later. So I had, especially on my right side, I've had a lot of structural problems from that, but also when I go through grief and trauma, I hold all of that in my hips and my legs. I've noticed that as a common pattern. That's my somatic area where I have to do a lot more work there. I tend to get more tension. And same with the shoulders. So I felt the shoulders relax, but for the hips and everything, I didn't really feel that let go as much.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes it takes multiple sessions to be able to get the root of something too. So I think it can happen in one session. I've had some miraculous things happen just after one session. But anyways, yeah, that was it, y'all. And appreciate your time, appreciate your help. I just want to let y'all know we are both energy medicine practitioners, and we do both work together. So if any of y'all would like to get a session, having two people, definitely reach out to me. And y'all make it a great day. God bless.